Well, good Monday afternoon, and thanks for joining us for your news at noon. I'm Jurnee Taylor alongside meteorologist Simone Thomas, and reports of possible tornadoes touching down in Lonoke County had our weather team busy yesterday. Simone, what is the very latest, and what are we looking at today?
Today we get a nice break from the active weather. Yesterday had our hands full for all of us, and I know it could have put a damper on some people's Easter Sunday. So today hopefully could be a nice makeup for. We're tracking the last of that cloud cover, trying to move out of the state. The rain has already moved out, but we do still see some lingering cloud cover across southeastern and northeastern Arkansas. If you're west of the central Arkansas region, you're likely already seeing that sunshine. Now, as those clouds keep pushing east, we'll see more of that sunshine. We're hitting the 70-degree mark now, looking to make it to the middle and upper 70s, maybe even some lower 80s to our south this afternoon. But a nice Monday in store for you. Again, tracking those upper 70s to lower 80s. We do have more rain coming later on in the week. We'll talk about what you need to know in that 7-day outlook.
All right, Simone, thank you. Well, communities are cleaning up this morning as the daytime reveals the aftermath left behind by heavy winds and tornadoes. THV11's Maya Ellison joins us live now from Lonoke County. And Maya, you were there last night right after the storm moved through. What are you seeing today?
Yeah, Jurnee, it's completely different seeing some of this damage in the morning versus at night. And just to reiterate what we learned from yesterday, it was 7 p.m. when officials learned that a tornado was possibly hitting this area, damaging trees, power lines, and even homes. Now, we were able to see some of that damage coming over to Highway 5 and 319 this morning. And we learned from Detective Tanya with the Lonoke County Sheriff's Office that the path of the tornado started near Highway 5, a little ways behind me. It made its way through the 16th section community, impacting the cemetery, and it made a turn coming down Highway 319 heading towards Ward. Now, I want to take a step to the side so you all can take a look at what we're seeing on Highway 319. Linemen are right now working on the power lines. Behind me, we see trees that have been uprooted, and a little ways back, there is a house, believe it or not. It is currently completely invisible or blocked due to some of those fallen trees. But one of the things that I want to note is that no injuries have been reported as of now, which is such a blessing. And the community has rallied together, coming together to ensure that, look, we want to get things back to normal. We're here for each other, and that's the message that they want to leave with you all at home. Now, at 5 and 6, we'll have a more in-depth look as to what the damage looks like and what members of the community want you all to know back at home. Live in Lonoke County, Maya Ellison, THV 11 News.
Well, the Catholic Church has begun a 9-day period of mourning following the death of Pope Francis. The Vatican announced the 88-year-old pontiff died this morning, saying he taught the world to live the values of the gospel with fidelity, courage, and universal love. Pope Francis's death came less than 24 hours after he appeared in St. Peter's Square for the Easter holiday. Jared Hill reports from New York.
Bells tolled throughout St. Peter's Square in Vatican City as mourners gathered to remember Pope Francis.
It's a very sad day for the Roman Catholic faith.
It's a stark contrast to scenes of joy on Easter Sunday.
Cari fratelli.
The 88-year-old pontiff delivered a message to the faithful, then greeted cheering crowds from the Pope Mobile for what would be the final time.
We can't believe it's happened while we're here. You know, he was a lovely Pope. We're very sad about it.
Last month, Pope Francis was released from the hospital after a 5-week stay for life-threatening double pneumonia. In his Easter address read by an aide, the Pope called for an end to violence in a number of major conflicts and urged compassion for marginalized people and migrants.
It was somehow just symbolically and spiritually apt that a Pope who was so beholden to being there for the forgotten people of the world, at the very end, that's how he went out as well.
Catholic churches around the world, including St. Patrick's Cathedral in New York, are now holding daily prayer services in honor of Pope Francis. He earned the name the People's Pope during his 12 years leading the church.
He was trying to allow people to feel included more to give hope and more compassion. He just didn't tolerate anyone who felt that they were superior to anyone else or that they were better than.
This evening, Vatican officials will preside over a solemn ritual, placing the Pope's body in a coffin, which will eventually be placed at St. Peter's Basilica. Pope Francis will lie in state there for several days before his funeral. Jared Hill, CBS News, New York.
Well, on a THB 11 update, we're learning new details after a shooting on the UCA campus this weekend that left one person hurt. UCA President Houston Davis released a statement last night confirming they've identified a second suspect in connection to the shooting. It happened just after 1 a.m. in a parking lot near Donaghy Avenue and Bruce Street. One student bystander was shot in the leg and now is recovering at home. Police have one suspect in custody and know who the other is. UCA's president says neither are current or former UCA students. Tonight in Conway, people will gather here at the site of a deadly mass shooting that happened a little over a week ago. The Faulkner County NAACP will host a candlelight vigil at Fifth Avenue Park. It's being held to pay respects to anyone affected by the shooting there 2 Sundays ago. It starts at 6 o'clock and we're told candles will be available to share. Police in Little Rock are investigating a weekend shooting. Officers arrived at 3:30 a.m. at the Super Stop gas station on Astor Avenue, where they discovered one man dead and another injured. The person hurt is now said to be in stable condition at the hospital. A third victim later drove himself to the hospital, and police are not releasing any more details at this time. New controversy today over Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth's use of the encrypted message app Signal. Hegseth reportedly shared details of U.S. attacks in Yemen and a second chat that included his wife. The messages were sent the same day Hegseth shared similar information in a separate Signal chat that inadvertently included the editor-in-chief of the Atlantic magazine. Hegseth has denied the allegations that he shared any classified information. And over the weekend, more mass protests denouncing President Trump as his administration is urging the U.S. Supreme Court to reconsider its decision to temporarily block the deportations of more Venezuelan migrants. The president of El Salvador is now proposing to exchange the U.S. deported prisoners in his country for political prisoners being held in Venezuela. Southside Church of Christ in Rogers is still recovering nearly a year after a tornado tore through their building. But this Easter, they gathered once again under a patch roof with stronger faith than ever. Jose Carranza from our Northwest Arkansas affiliate shares their story.
On May 26, 2024, a tornado hit Rogers, damaging dozens of homes and Southside Church of Christ. The sanctuary was flooded, the stained glass shattered, and repairs are still ongoing today.
Sure enough, the main peak of our building with the stained glass, it had been so rocked by the building, it was as if the storm itself had just punched through the stained glass, which then shattered the projector screen, which then punctured the baptistry, which flooded the auditorium.
But despite losing part of their roof, church members didn't focus on the damage. Their first priority was becoming a hub for disaster relief, even while their own homes were hit.
Once it was light, we kind of said, okay, we need to go check on the church and kind of see, start to gather and then see which of our people are going to need some help. And so we came here in the morning and then starting to just check on the neighbors of the church, kind of this as being our kind of core place, and then just kind of building out from there.
Relief efforts continued for weeks. Church members spent their days clearing trees, checking on neighbors, and distributing supplies, thanks in part to donations from across the country.
Every morning, the week after the tornado, our members showed up, helped unload the truck, distribute the supplies, organize them, and then we had people who stayed all day, every day, helping to get supplies to the community.
Now, with Easter Sunday here, the church returns to the building, still under repair, to celebrate what they believe is the heart of their faith.
Today is Easter Sunday at Southside. Easter is a special day for Christians all throughout the world and has been for a long time. We also realize that The whole world is focused on the resurrection today. Isn't this the crux of what we believe in?
And for many, the storm only strengthened their community and their faith, carrying them through any storm.
In the Bible, it talks about, to consider the lilies of the field. They toil not, neither do they spin, but God takes care of them. And sometimes we just have to be those lilies and just say, if it comes, it comes. Look, we've lived through it before, and so we can live through it again.
Even if there's a tornado on the horizon, though I would pray that God would keep the tornadoes out of Rogers for the foreseeable future, certainly. But if another one comes, I have full confidence that this church will step up just like we did last time.
Well, still to come on your news at noon, students come from all over the world to learn in American schools, but changes to travel visas may threaten their options.
And it's a beautiful afternoon out there. Take advantage of it because we've got more active weather on the way. We'll talk more about the week ahead coming up after the break.